We are live. Hi, my name is Amy Mackey, and this is my cohort in crime, John Fitzgerald, and we're part of the Engine 2 Plant Strong team. We're really glad that you could join us tonight for this webinar about the Rescue 10X program.
Yeah, so for those of you, I hope you all enjoyed Plant Stock. What a great weekend. It was awesome to see all the comments and see how everyone was really enjoying all the different talks. And I know Amy and I were on right after Adam Sudd spoke on Sunday, and we had a few minutes to kind of tell you what 10X was all about and how you could get involved and everything like that. So we wanted to come on tonight to see if you guys had any questions that maybe didn't get answered. You know, we were kind of flying through our little spiel that we had, but didn't really take any questions. And, you know, if you guys had questions, but we also wanted to take some time to give you a little bit more flavor about what 10X is all about. And, you know, Engine 2 and Plant Strong have been doing this now for 2 years. Amy and I have been doing this program for 2 years for them. And, you know, we have had incredible success from people that have joined. And a lot of times right after an event, when you're given all this information, you know, sometimes you just want to take a break and say, let me digest it a little bit and then see what happens. But the other part is sometimes you go out and now you've been doing it for 4 days by yourself and you're like, you know what, maybe I could use a little more guidance. Maybe I could use a little more help. So that's why we want to make sure, see where you guys are, see how you enjoy Plant Stock, see if you've got questions on, all right, I got all this information. How do I use it? How do I implement it in my life?
It looks like we have a couple of questions already showing up in chat. We have a question about, do you have any pets? Are they on a vegan diet? I have a dog. My dog happens to have about 17 different allergies. He's been through about 74 different foods in the 7 years that I've had him. He does amazing on the Wild Earth dog food. He was on a vegan diet before. It was the Natural Trail, Nature's Trail, the Dick Van Dyke one that he owns, that brand.
Dick Van Dyke.
Okay. Yeah, he owns a dog food brand. Who knew?
No.
Yeah, exactly. No, wait, I'm sorry. Dick Van Patten. Wrong one. Dick Van Patten from Eight is Enough. That guy.
Eight is Enough, right, okay. I'm still shocked, I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. He owns a dog food company. My dog did okay on that one, but he would still get hot spots. And so he's been really great since we've tried the Wild Earth dog food with him. He doesn't like the treats, but he loves the dog food.
There you go. So I have a dog too, but he has a very sensitive digestive system, so I don't mess with it. I let the vet tell me what to feed him, because when I mess with it, it gets messy. So we just leave that alone. So we should probably just say, although because of the pandemic, I'm sure everyone's been on at least a couple Zoom calls. If you do have any questions, you just use the chat button down in the middle of your screen. That'll open up a chat window and you just type in at the bottom. The other question, Nancy says, do others get scared making this commitment? She's a little worried about her ice cream and her bagels. Well, I can tell you this, Nancy, any change, especially, and we talk about this in the program a lot, any change is difficult. Any change is scary, right? That's what holds you back, is your fear from moving forward, from getting healthier, from getting better. Your brain wants you to stay in your comfort zone. But here's what I'll say. You don't get better without making change. And everybody's scared and nobody wants to make the commitment. And especially when it comes to food, with all the emotions and all the feelings that come along with it. But when you join Rescue 10X, you get one of the most incredibly supportive communities that will hold you accountable. They'll be there to hold your hand, to cheer you on, to support you when you're making this change. And what we've seen, and Amy, you can speak as well, because I don't want to speak for both of us, but the amazing thing for me is how people support one another and how much that makes a difference when people are making such a change like this.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, sometimes the issues that you're having personally are the issues that someone else just worked through. And they might have found a way that really worked out well for them, that they could deal with the issues that they've been having, that they share in the community group. And so because it worked for them, it may or may not work for you, but you get more ideas than just the Plant Strong ideas from our internal team and from us individually as coaches. You also get the ideas of actual practical things that work for people on the ground. People have been doing this before, people who have been through the 10X program already a couple of times. We have people who like the weekly touch point. You know, for years, there's been programs like Weight Watchers and things like that that gave you a weekly touch point with your team, with your community, and the Rescue 10X is a lot like that. So there are a lot of ideas and things like that that fly around in the community that you might find really useful, or even yet, you might post something that worked for you that helps someone else. And that's always a great moment as well.
Yeah, I think between, oh, go ahead, Amy.
You know, and the thing to remember is the more you participate, the more you get out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that, right? If you put the work in, this program works, right? We know after 2 years that 10X works. We've seen the success stories. We've seen people coming in from all different backgrounds, from all different points on their journey, and they all kind of coalesce, and they all, I mean, it's amazing, right? In Facebook, people sharing personal emails and stuff, and like, oh, you know, you live near me, or, oh, this is great, you know, we have, whatever. You know, people really become friends because food is bonding, right? I mean, that's why we do family get-togethers. That's why we have barbecues with our neighbors and friends. Listen, food is a cultural thing that brings us all together. And so when you come into Rescue 10X, it's like being surrounded by like-minded people that are all trying to make the same change. And you can bet if you're having issues or you're having struggles, someone else is too, or they've done it before, and they can offer you some tips that may help you get through those tough times.
Oh, for sure. We also have a question from Jane. She says she signed up and it said it started on the 16th. She wants to make sure she signed up for the right thing. So here's what happens. When you sign up for Rescue 10X on our platform, you get access to the program for 12 weeks. Our program is actually only 10 weeks. Why 12? Well, because if you sign up ahead of time and we only gave you 10 weeks, your time slot in the program would expire before we finish. So we give you 12 weeks, which gives you that 2-week window prior to us starting. So you actually got bonus time. Our first call actually isn't until August 25th, and our last call will be on November 4th. So you signed up for the right thing.
Right. And you don't have any information yet on the calls. We will send you an email ahead of time, probably this weekend, right, Amy? They'll get an email with all the details of, you know, for those of you that haven't joined the private Facebook group yet, you'll get information about that. You'll find information to the link where to get your documents to download and get going for the first week. And most importantly, you'll get the call link and how to join. We use Zoom just like we are now. The difference is we'll get to see all your smiling faces as well. We do it more as a call versus a webinar. So that's kind of fun too. People get to recognize each other and, you know, from week after week and seeing each other. So, you know, it's a great time to kind of meet new people and see what other people are doing and living this lifestyle, right? Okay, so Nancy wants to know about the bacteria in your mouth destroyed by fluoride, and can the bacteria come back? Well, Amy and I are not scientists, but I will quote Dr. Clapper, Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Colin Campbell. Your body is an amazing machine, and it will give you that bacteria back just like it does with your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome can change within weeks, if not days, when you switch to a plant-based diet. And there's so much, I don't know, we talk about a lot in the program, but there's a big connection between your gut and your brain and how your body operates. A lot of people call your gut your second brain. So you can restore the bacteria by getting off the fluoride and eating a plant-based diet and restoring all that healthy bacteria.
Absolutely. You know, we have a question about almond milk and whether or not Rip and his family use oat milk because it doesn't have the same oils. Rip just likes oat milk. He likes the flavor of it because it's sweeter. We don't have any issue with almond milk if you're making your own or if you're buying it in a container, as long as it doesn't have oil in it. Almond milk itself doesn't have oils in it. It just has the fats from the almond, right? So to get oil added to something, you have to actually express the oil out of the nut and then add it back in. So there isn't almond oil specifically in your almond milk. It's just the fats from the almonds. We avoid anything that has expeller pressed oils. So whether it's from a sunflower seed or canola oil or olive oil, those are the oils that we avoid. Now, there are some oat milks that do have oil in them as a stabilizer, and the same holds true for rice milk. Most commercial rice milks also have oil in them as well. So just make sure that you're reading your labels.
Yep. And we do label reading. We talk about label reading in Rescue 10X because once you leave that produce section, reading labels becomes that much more important when you make this switch. So We got a 21 minute video from Rip, and as he says, he makes you a label reading ninja, and it's a great way to, learn how to read those labels in a quick, simple way and get yourself out of trouble real quick when you're venturing out into those other aisles. So Amy, you kind of touched on this, but and people have asked this before, like, what do I do to get prepared for August 25th? Do I have to do the 7-day rescue challenge? So I'll let you handle that one.
Absolutely. The number one thing you need to do to prepare for August 25th, know where to log in and look at the materials that we have available for you already in your welcome week. Join the Facebook group if you anticipate doing so. It is not a requirement of our program. I want to make that clear. You do not have to join. You can simply follow along with the coursework and join in on the calls and completely skip the community. But I will tell you this, the more you participate in the community, the more benefit you're going to get out of our program. When we do our post-assessment surveys, we hear from a lot of people that they decided not to join the Facebook group and they wish that they had because they feel like they were missing something. So just know that we do a large chunk of the group coaching and the idea tossing and the let's figure this out together kind of scenarios. We do all of that in the Facebook group. The calls that we have, we go over some coursework, we give you some fresh ideas for the next week. We do run some scenarios from time to time, and we do ask you how you're doing. Sometimes we have opportunities for you to participate in those calls by putting you on camera, raising your hand, asking questions in chat, but a large chunk of our program is actually conducted in the Facebook group. So what I'd love for you to do to prepare is log in at go.plantstrong.com, and we'll put that link in the chat so you have it, and it's also in the materials that we send you. Go.plantstrong.com is where our curriculum lives. That's where you'll find all your coursework. And so our coursework is delivered to you on a drip basis, meaning we drip it out to you 1 week at a time. So you have a welcome week's worth of information ready for you now. And then when we get started next week, you will actually get another week's worth of lessons unlocked for you. So that way you can follow along, download your worksheets, print things out, and have everything ready to go. You don't have to follow the 7-day rescue to start our program. You don't have to even know what that means. You can just join us in the Rescue 10X. We're going to give you all of the information that you need. If you're a pro at 7-day rescue, you know how to follow the plan, you just have trouble making it stick, that's fine too. If you want to start your very first 7-day rescue with us, awesome, we'll support you through that. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum of Plant Strong. We will help you get to where you want to be by giving you the tools that you need to get there. So just make sure you know how to log in. Keep a watch on your email. When we send you your links, all of those things will either come via the Facebook group, the coursework, or email. And sometimes we put them in all three just to cover all the bases to make sure that you can get what you need. But knowing those three things, where to log in, how to join us in the Facebook group, and watch your emails for calls. If you want to go ahead and put hello@plantstrong.com in your contacts and make sure that you're getting our emails, that would be great.
Yeah. And so what we really do, what the Rescue 10X program is, this kind of gets to the next question from Laura. So what the Rescue 10X program is we take all that information that you learned over the weekend at PlantStock, or maybe you've read Rip's books, or you've searched the internet and you've got all this information that's rattling around in your head, and you're like, well, this is all great information, but how do I make it work? How do I make it work in my life, in my house, in my world? That's what Rescue 10X is. We take all that information, Amy and I take all that information, we bring in guest coaches, Adam Sudd, some of the other Engine 2 team members, Plant Strong team members, and we bring them to you to teach you how to make this work for you. The big thing that we really want to stress is this is about behavioral change, right? Everybody has the information. We all know what's healthier. If I showed you a picture of a bacon cheeseburger and I showed you a picture of a sweet potato with red peppers and corn and mangoes on it, you'd know which is healthier, right? But how do you get yourself to eat the healthier food? So we work on habits. We teach you how to create habits. We work with you on your mindset, because this is all about finding your why, finding your purpose, why you want to do this, creating that mindset, and then making those habits that'll work for you each and every day, whatever the situation that you're in. So between the textbook, the workbook exercises that you'll get each week, they get sent out to you, or available in the curriculum. Between the Rip video, he goes deep into the 7-day rescue, each pillar, more so than he did in the talk at PlantStock. He really goes deep into each pillar. And then there's also the live calls each week. And like Amy said, the private Facebook group. And so let me just say one thing I wanted to add on the Facebook group that you were talking about, Amy. If you are one of those people that don't like to be on social media, we recommend you can just join Facebook. You don't have to tell anybody you're out there. You don't have to friend anybody. You just have to be able to get onto Facebook, find your way to the Rescue 10X page. That's it. You don't have to, nothing else happens, the only stuff that'll show up in your feed is just stuff from us. So,
and it's private. So
right.
everything that happens inside the group stays in the group. None of those posts can be shared outside of the group. No one else can see those posts except for people who are members of the Rescue 10X that are inside that group. So if you're, your sister Sally, you don't want her to know that you're doing this, she's not even going to see you in there. And so that's the beautiful thing about the Rescue 10X program. We've had lots of people in the past who have never wanted to be on Facebook, don't have Facebook accounts, simply join so that they can be part of the community. And when 10X is done, they cancel their account. And so there's no issue with doing that either. If that's how you want to join us, you don't even have to put up a picture. If it just says Mary and we know that you're Mary that signed up with Rescue 10X with the email address that you have, you're good and we're ready to go. And then you can be part of that and not miss out on it.
Yeah. Mary Ann wants to know about, getting a balanced diet so she's not too much, too many carbs without the protein. And Amy, I'll let you start on that one because I know this is not a meal planning or a recipe type program, but we do talk obviously a lot about food.
We do. And so it sounds to me like, Marianne, that you haven't really followed the 7-day rescue plan before entirely. Maybe you have, but here's what I can tell you. There's protein in your oatmeal. So most people think oatmeal is carbs, but there's actually protein in your oatmeal. You're going to get 6 grams of protein in your oatmeal. You're going to get protein in the greens that you're eating. You're going to get protein in the beans that you're eating. All of the things that we eat, we're not eating big piles of pasta with no vegetables attached to them. We're not eating loads of bread. We're not eating just potatoes on our plate. We're having a balanced plan. We like to start out with with soup or salad first in our meal. And then we like to have a balanced plate. We have greens with every meal. We have our starches. We have our proteins all on our plate, whether it's beans, whether you're having portobello mushrooms grilled with some barbecue sauce, anything like that we're having is going to be balanced on a plate. So you're going to have all of those, your different things. If it's brown rice, black beans, and spinach, if you're going to have you can make the chickpea omelet that Jane and Ann made for you. You can have that. So there's protein in all of the things that we eat. So please don't think that you're going to only have carbs without protein, because that's really hard to accomplish unless you're eating white bread with jam on it and nothing else. And that's not part of our plan. So you're going to get a balanced plate. When you have that balanced plate, you're going to be full sooner than you think. We eat more food than you would imagine possible. You're going to find that balance. You're not going to have any sort of hypoglycemic issues because you're going to be getting everything that you need as long as you're laying out your plate in the way that we'll show you through the Rescue 10X program.
Yeah, that's great, Amy. Great. And the only thing I would add to that is when you eat, a whole food plant-based diet and the way we go over it in the Rescue 10X program, you'll realize that you're getting all the best fats, carbs, and proteins that you need. And you're getting it in the best balance you can get, as long as you are eating the rainbow and all the other stuff that we'll talk about in the program. Robin, okay, so she's struggling to lose weight, and I think I need to evaluate areas that need tweaking. So we are not doctors, we are health coaches. So what we can tell you is that, the Rescue 10X program, people have come to the Rescue 10X program with all different types of health issues. And they have to make it work with them. And we there's a letter that you print off and share with your doctor just to make sure they're on board, that they know that you're trying something new, and that you work in tandem with them. When people are on and they start to, lower their diabetes medications, they have to work on that with their doctors. We cannot adjust medications in this program, but that's why we want your doctors on board, so that when you're making those changes and the program starts to work, you need to make those adjustments. The doctor's right there to help you along the way.
Also, just to be clear, you have stated here that you eat a plant-based diet already. Plant-based diets could be many different things. There's whole food plant-based diets, there's vegan, and then there's Engine 2. And the plan that we follow for the Rescue 10X program is called the 7-Day Rescue. Those are the guidelines that we follow inside the Rescue 10X. We have very specific guidelines, and the very specific guidelines can be found in the 7-Day Rescue download. There's a download. If you go to plantstrong.com and go to the 7-Day Rescue page, you can actually download the challenge guide so you can see what it is that we eat and what we don't. Because of the way that we balance our meals with greens at every meals, everything that we do tends to be low in calorie density, which can be a lot different than other whole food plant-based plans. So for example, if you have been following a plan that allowed for tofu and tempeh and cashew cheese and things like that that are much more calorie dense than the 7-Day Rescue plan plans for, then you might have trouble losing weight. When you follow the 7-Day Rescue plan as written and follow the guidelines, making sure that you're getting your greens at every meal, making sure you're skipping the nuts except for a handful of walnuts a day, you're not drinking any calories, we don't do smoothies, we don't have tofu or tempeh or meat alternatives like Beyond Meat or Boca or Morningstar Farms or any of those seitan kind of things. We really drill down into the whole food, plant-based, no oil. We snack on fruit or vegetables only, and that's only if we need a snack. We really want your meals to be large enough so that way you feel full and you don't really need a snack. Our plan is very specific, and so often when we have people tell us that they've been following a plant-based plan, it's not necessarily our plan, especially if you find that you're not losing weight. Now, if you do find that, yes, you've been following the 7-Day Rescue, my suggestion to you would be to start taking pictures of your meals, because chances are something needs to be adjusted to make sure you have the balance appropriate on your plate. And that's one of the things that we can help you with. But just do know that most of the Rescue 10X program is not about the food, it's about your mindset and how you show up to your plate.
Absolutely. Great point, Amy. So this next point we'll talk about, Amy probably can answer the next couple questions. So the Rescue 10X program goes for 10 weeks. You have a specific amount of material that you have to go through for each week. It's not like Plant Stock, right? We have longer than 3 days to give you all the information. So not only do you get the information and then, so you'll get information to you on Tuesday morning, but that stuff we're not talking about until the following Tuesday. So the call is always 1 week behind the new material that was released that morning. So when you get the material Tuesday morning, you've got all week, and then we'll discuss it in the following Tuesday call, right? That's where you can answer your questions. Like Amy said, we'll talk about that, what you've learned in the videos and the workbook exercises. We'll also delve into some additional material that's not covered in the workbook. And it's done in a pace that if you miss the call on Tuesdays, they're all recorded and available in the curriculum and available on the Facebook page. So if you miss a call or if you just can't make any Tuesday night calls, you can always get the recorded calls and get all the information that you need from that recorded call. And the nice thing is people tell us they go back and they watch the calls because, you know, there's some stuff they just want to hear a second time. So it's, I just want to make sure I'm covering all of that. So, you know, this program is over 2 years, we figured out how to pace it to not only give you information, but give you time to implement it and practice it and learn it. All right. All right. You got another one, Amy?
I am looking through here. So yes, we run 10X programs about every 10 to 12 weeks, depending. We had a 3-week gap this time so we could make room to make sure that we weren't starting until after Plant Stock. So we would have a course starting for people who were interested. This program ends November 4th. And we will have another one before the end of the calendar year. I'm not exactly sure what day that'll start, and they might actually overlap so we can get everybody in and through before the end of the calendar year. So you're ready to go for the new year ahead. So we will do another one of these. We do several a year, and just keep an eye on our Facebook and our website and our newsletter for the next possible date for this program.
Right. I missed one question up here. So Ann asked if she put a question in Q&A. Yes, Ann, we don't have access to the previous Q&A.
No, I have the Q&A here that's actually in the webinar. I see what you're talking about, Ann.
Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so Ann did ask in here, can you do this program more than once? How often is it offered and what is the cost? So
Great
this
question.
particular program is $247. For anyone who was at Plant Stock, you got a $75 coupon, which makes it $172. Yes, you can do it more than once, but we don't make you pay for the coursework more than once, because once you have the coursework, you have the coursework. You've already been able to download the worksheets and the roll call journals and the calorie density charts and all of those things that we have for you. So you would simply join our monthly subscription program, which is called GPS, which is Go Plant Strong, for ongoing navigational support with your community and your coaches. It means you still get all of the perks of the 10X program. You get the calls, the coaches, the Facebook group. You still get your coursework, you get all of those things, but now you just pay one monthly fee, which is $37. And that's after you've graduated from our main program. You can do it as often as you want. You can do it a month here. You can quit. You can come back to us for a couple of months. You can do it continuously. We have options for everybody all the way through. And we often will have people who will join us for a little while, leave us for 6 months, and then come back just to touch up on some things. So it just depends on your personal needs.
Absolutely. Now, wait a second here. Now, Kim, you're asking, you don't do much on Facebook, and then you throw in no matter what. That tells me you know a little bit of something about Rescue 10X, Kim. Yeah, so yes, Kim, you should make that a no matter what. Like Amy said earlier, that is the Facebook group. There's a lot of coaching that goes on, and more importantly, beyond the coaching, because we do have the coaching calls, but there is coaching that goes on in the Facebook group, is the community support, right? You can't, I don't think you can beat the fact that there's like-minded people sharing, supporting, cheering you on. It's really a very important part of the coaching program. And I think, as Amy said earlier, a lot of people regret not, at least joining Facebook just for the Rescue 10X and then, getting rid of their Facebook account, so.
Absolutely. And just know that when you come into the 10X program, you're not going to be in there with only people who have never done it before. You will also be in the 10X with people who have done this before. The GPS members will be part of your call. The GPS members are part of the Facebook group. So you're going to get all different levels of support from people who have done this a whole bunch. We have people who have been Plant Strong for years. We have people who have been Plant Strong for a few months. We have people who have been Plant Strong for 2 days. So you're going to get every level of Plant Strong knowledge throughout the community. So you're always going to find a face or a situation that is familiar to you, in the way that it's a mom with 2 kids, it's a single dad with a teenage daughter, it's a family of 5. There are so many different situations, people in all over areas of the country and the world. We actually have a member from Australia that joins us from GPS every week. She's from Australia and she always tunes in for us. So you get all of that and then some in the Facebook group. It's definitely a not miss. Now, if you are extremely shy, you really don't want to talk to anybody, you really don't want to participate in that way, I would still recommend that you join, because you can at least then read everything. Somebody might post a picture of their favorite Plant Strong meal that is exactly the thing that you were looking for, that reminds you of the thing that your grandmother used to make. You just never know what might show up in the Facebook group. So if you're only in there lurking and you never type a word, at least you are breathing in all of that information just by being in the room.
Right, exactly. Great point. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years, and I get bowl ideas and eating ideas from what people are posting. So it doesn't have to be just because you're new to it. So as far as preparing ahead of Tuesday, just go through what's in your welcome week in the curriculum. Once you log into go.plantstrong.com, just go to the welcome week, download the materials, or just look at them if you don't want to download them, and then watch the videos, and just that's all you have to do, right? And then just show up. The first week is pretty much an introductory week. We talk to you about what the program is. We delve a little bit into what we're going to be talking about. Amy will talk to you about what foods are allowed and not allowed, and so we really we expect that starting Wednesday, that you'll be starting your first 7-day rescue if you haven't done it before. So that's the only thing. The other thing we would recommend is getting rid of all your meat, dairy, and cheese. You might as well get rid of it now and get rid of it ahead of time. So what else, Amy?
Some of the questions that we have in the Q&A. So let me give you an idea here. I think I can hit several of these questions all at once. You are going to get workbook lessons that are thoughtful lessons about where you are in your mindset when it comes to habits, where it comes to the things that you struggle with, when it comes to staying on plan. You're going to find in the Rescue 10X video lectures from Rip. He also has some special guests. You might see Ann and Essie in there as well. In addition to that, you're going to get our live coaching calls where we actually touch upon the things that were in last week's workbook sheets. Now, we call them workbook sheets, but they're actually PDF pages. And what we mean by workbook is through the end of the 10-week program, if you download all of the sheets, you put them into a binder, you're going to actually have a nice little workbook about your journey through the 10-week program. The sheets are made so that you can print them out over and over again, in the respect that The lessons that we have you do on week 1, we often will tell you, like during week 5, you should go back and see where you were in week 1 and do that exercise again. Fill out the sheet again to see how far you've come in that time period. You're going to get the kind of lessons that talk about being mindful. We talk about good sleep hygiene. We talk about creating habits, a whole bunch, because whether you are trying to start a new eating plan, whether you are trying to get fit, whether you find that you are up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Facebook because you can't sleep and you need to work on your sleep patterns, if you're trying to reduce your stress because you just need to find a mindful space and some self-care for your own self so you can take better care of those around you, those are all things that are based in habit forming. And we're going to talk to you about habit forming, whether you want to create a new hobby. Say you want to learn how to play the piano, you would practice piano, right? You would sit down, you would work on your skills, you would do those kinds of things with whatever skill it is that you want to learn. Our habit building skills can focus on any area of life that you want to apply them to. And actually, most of the habit forming activities that we talk about could be applied to just about anything. That's the basis of the Rescue 10X program. So you aren't going to get a meal plan for every day of the 10-week program. That is not what this program is about. We have an Engine 2 Plant Strong meal planner for people who are simply looking for what should I eat, how much should I eat, what is my grocery list, and those kinds of things are really better handled by the Plant Strong meal planner. There's a lot of P's in there. Anyway, the Plant Strong meal planner is your best bet for that. This is a little bit of my journey. I've been with the Engine 2 team for 8 years now, and I have food addiction, flat out. I also was an alcoholic, and I am 11 years sober, and I've been Plant Strong since 2011. Now, I know what to do. I know how to do it. I know the foods I should eat. I know the foods that I should avoid. Does that mean that I am 100% on plan all the time? No, because I'm human and I have issues with food, deep-seated ones that I've been working on for years. What this program does is gives me the tools that I need when, let's say, I've made it through the grocery store and everything in my cart is Plant Strong. It's everything that I need. But I make it to the checkout line. I'm surrounded by chocolate and chips and candy on all sides of me in the aisle. And if I can make it through that gauntlet, I still have to get past the Starbucks with the pumpkin bread on the other side of the cash register. This is like an obstacle course for a food addict like me. So I might have every intention of making it out of that store intact without buying anything that I shouldn't, but do I make it out of the store without buying the pumpkin bread or don't I? These are the things that I struggle with. If you have issues surrounding food, if you have issues staying on plan, if you have started 542 diets in the past 42 years and haven't stuck to any of them, if you say things like, I fell off the wagon again, I had a really bad weekend, this was really challenging for me, it was my sister's birthday, they had donuts at the office, and all of the other things that we tell ourselves about, well, I'll get back on Monday. I can just start over again. This was, a really rough week for me. I was super stressed. I didn't have time. All of those things I have said, every single one. And I have used all of those things as a reason not to be on plan, because ultimately when I examine the actual why of those things, I could have said no. I could have eaten before I gone. I could have had my own snack with me. I could have made it out of that grocery store without buying the pumpkin bread, but I didn't have the tools that I really needed to do those things. And Rescue 10X is one of those programs that gave me those things that I need, whether it is having something to think about in that moment, whether it is remembering your why you want to do this in the first place, because we often find people say, well, I just need to lose weight. That's a really challenging why. And I'll tell you why, because just wanting to lose weight, most of us, right? Almost all of us would say, oh, I could stand to lose a few pounds. I really want to do that. Making something stick so it becomes a lifetime habit, you have to dig a little deeper than that. And that's one of the things that the Rescue 10X will really help you with, is finding that foundation that can help lift you up and guide you through all of those things.
Yeah, perfect. So couple quick things. So if you post in the private Facebook group, it does not go out to everybody, all your friends on Facebook. So as long as you post it within the private Facebook Rescue 10X program, you're fine. We'll talk a lot about what foods are included and not included. Tofu is not, for the person that asked that question. Let's see, the other one I wanted to touch on real quick. I'm just starting out. Pamela says Pamela, I love the last name. You almost got it right. Pamela Fitzpatrick. So, Pamela, so you're just starting out on the whole food plant-based diet. Listen, you can do 10X right now, because this is a great time to start, because you'll start good habits right off the bat. You won't create bad habits within a whole food plant-based lifestyle. You'll have the good habits starting right off the bat. So, it's a great time to start to do a whole food plant-based lifestyle, but it's also a great time to do 10X, because you'll create those strong habits.
How time consuming is the program? That's a great question.
Great question.
It depends on how much time you put into it. Our worksheets that we give you, the lessons that are in there, the things that you really need to sit down and fill out, those things shouldn't take you more than an hour a week. That's if you are sitting down and being really thoughtful about filling these things out. The lectures that we have are an hour or less. Most of them are about 20 minutes, I believe. And it's all in how much time you want to put into this. This isn't a complicated program, but there are things that we do hope that you sit down without distraction to fill out the worksheets and actually take some time to be mindful about it. Because if you aren't willing or able to do some self-examination for this program about how, like I told you, I'm the excuse queen. I've got 8,432 excuses, reasons why I shouldn't X. Work out, eat right, whatever it might be. So you know you best. And so when you sit down to fill out the worksheets, being mindful of your struggles, the things that you really get stuck on, those are the kinds of things that we hope that you have some mindful insight into and that you take some time with. But this doesn't have to be a time-consuming program at all.
No. Kathleen, answer a couple of your questions. Yes, we will have a lesson on how to clean out your fridge. And the big difference, the Rescue 10X and 7-Day Rescue are pretty much the same. You're just doing the 7-Day Rescue for 10 weeks, right? And each week, but we're also adding in the behavioral change part of it. We do talk about people when they travel, right? When you're out and about, whether it's in restaurants or traveling on the road, we do talk about how you do this when you're traveling. Lynn, absolutely. You and your husband should definitely do it together. This is such a great program for people in the same household to do together, and it makes it a lot easier when you only have to make one meal. Although we do address the fact that not everyone has the joy of doing this program with someone in the same household. So let's see. Amy, you see, yeah, there's still openings in the program. You can still sign up. Go ahead, Amy.
So is the Facebook group forever or just for the 12 weeks? The Facebook group is for the Rescue 10X is for that time period. So if you are signing up for Rescue 10X Autumn because you are new, you get access to the Facebook group from the day you sign up until the end of our program, which is November 4th. That is the last day of our call. That is the last day that you have access to the Facebook group. After that, if you would still like access to the coaching calls in the Facebook group, you would have to join the Rescue 10X GPS program. However, we have a 7-Day Rescue Facebook group on Facebook already that is 36,000 members strong. So if you graduate from the Rescue 10X program and you only need light support, you can still join everybody in the 7-Day Rescue group, and most of our Rescue 10Xers can be found over there as well.
Yep. Yes, there are still openings for the program that starts on Tuesday. And listen, to answer Holly's question, Holly, a lot of people when they join this program aren't really sure whether they'll like the taste of the food, right? We all have heard the jokes that vegans eat grass and twigs, right? So yeah, there is that worry. But listen, after 10 weeks with Amy, you will have such a diverse palette available to you of all these delicious foods and how to make them taste amazing. You won't have that concern anymore, trust me. So don't worry about that. We don't go over recipes specifically. That's more the Plant Strong Meal Planner. But we do talk about how to make this food delicious, how to create food. And to be honest, most of the stuff people share, a lot of what people share on the Facebook group is their beautiful creations, or some aren't so beautiful, but they look delicious.
Well, we talk about herbs and spices. We talk about ways to spark things up with the Sparks on the 7-Day Rescue Program, which is basically any sort of condiment, herb, spice, vinegars, different things like that that you can add to your meals to make them more palatable and more interesting. I get bored really quickly, and I rarely eat the same thing twice, except for a handful of meals that I really enjoy. I don't like making recipes. Everything that I make can be thrown together really simply. I love my microwave. I use it a ton. And I have all kinds of tips and ideas for you to make this easy. It doesn't have to be time consuming. You don't have to make beans from scratch if you don't want to. You don't have to cook rice from scratch if you don't want to. I have all kinds of ways to make this as simple as humanly possible. You can also make it as complicated as you want to. If you love being in the kitchen and you love preparing gourmet meals, I can teach you how to do all kinds of things with that mindset. If you want this to be a long and complicated recipe, great. I can show you how to do that. But I can also show you how to do it in 4 ingredients in 2.5 minutes in the microwave in 1 bowl and make it interesting all the same. So we do cover some things like that. We also tackle things like how to order out at a restaurant, how to handle family meetings or family dinners. You know, Thanksgiving's going to be coming up. What do you say at the Thanksgiving table if you don't want to eat the turkey? We talk about all kinds of things like that in the Rescue 10X. What do I do about my teenage daughter who's overweight and is really, really resistant to even trying this? How can I get her on board? We talk about things like that. There's so many different topics that we cover in the Rescue 10X. We can't possibly sum them all up in an hour's worth of time on this call, but just know that we are open to discuss just about anything, and especially in the Facebook group. If it's something that isn't covered in a call, but you ask it in the Facebook group, not only will we weigh in, but chances are so will the community. And so know that you'll get all kinds of support in that arena as well.
So, on the Tuesday night calls, we do have, material that we want to go over with you, but we are always open for questions. We love when people ask questions in the chat group or in the chat session. So if you've got a question on the material, if you've got a question that has nothing to do with the material, it may be something that's coming up in the weeks ahead, fire it at us. We'd be happy to answer those for you. A lot of questions in here about people when they're busy. And that is one of the myths of this way of eating, is that it's so time consuming. And I will say 2 things on that. Number one, we do talk about batch cooking, which really makes this simple. And the other thing I'll say is, one of the reasons, at least in my opinion, when I made the switch, one of the reasons that made it time consuming is because I didn't have the ingredients. I didn't have the food in my house. So it was time consuming because I'm like, well, I got to go out and buy it and bring it home. Once you make the change, like we talked about earlier, about switching out your fridge and switching out your pantry, and all the food and all the ingredients are there that you use in this type of eating, it becomes just as simple as what you're doing now with the standard American diet, with all the benefits that come along with eating a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So there's so many ways to make this easy. That is not we'll talk about that, but that is not a roadblock you need to worry about in eating this way. A lot of people talking about cheese and chocolate and Amy, do you want to kind of just, I know and this probably has to do with the post that I put up on Facebook, but can you talk about the workbook? What we mean by the workbook?
What we mean by the workbook is the PDF documents that are available for you to download within your coursework. And every week you'll get some new PDFs to download. And each week, so there's 10 weeks worth of the 10X lessons, and there will be PDFs for you to download in each lesson. When you assemble these PDFs together by the end of the 10 weeks, you have a pretty decent workbook. There's at least 3 or 4 pages minimum that you will download to print out each week so that you can fill them out. Now, somebody did ask if they didn't have a printer, if that is a hurdle. You don't have to have a printer. You can download the PDF documents. You have them on your hard drive. You could keep the same notes in a notebook and use the PDF documents like you would a textbook. You can do that. You don't have to have a printer in order to do this, as long as you have a notebook and a pen. So, and you don't have to turn in your worksheets. The worksheets are for you. They're not for us. You're not being graded on anything. It's not a quiz or a test. It's basically just insight for you. We're going to help you dig deep into the hurdles that you face that keep you from being on plan all the time. The hurdles that you face from creating healthy habits. To give you an example, Rip Esselstyn has exercised pretty much every day of his life. He grew up in a family that was exercise prone. They love to exercise. They love to get their fitness in. It's simply how he grew up. There was no No sitting around and watching TV for hours on end. At the Esselstyn household when they were kids, they did not grow up that way. Not everybody grew up the way the Esselstyns did. We should all be so lucky. But I was babysat by the television when I was a kid. I've seen every episode of Tom and Jerry. I used to watch Phil Donahue. I am an All My Children graduate from back in the day when Erica Kane had only been married 3 times, okay? I grew up watching television a lot. I did not grow up physically fit. I did not join any sports when I was a kid. I was never that person. So for me, fitness is really challenging. That's one of my big hurdles. And so we help you get over whatever your big hurdle is to your lifestyle. Whatever it is that you need to work on in there is what we focus on with the 10X program.
Yeah. Eric asked, he says he's an endurance athlete and does the 10X program provide information? So Eric, how I would answer that is we have people joining this program for all different reasons, whether it's they're an endurance athlete, they're a weightlifter, they want to lose weight, they've got, diabetes or pre-diabetes, whatever the case may be, everyone's joining. So we're giving you information that can be used for every specific reason. You may have to tweak a little bit for an endurance athlete. I mean, Scott Jurek did broke the record for traveling the whole Appalachian Trail on a plant-based diet. So again, it can work. And if you watch the Game Changers documentary, that's another great way to see how these people are living this lifestyle and eating this way and still being able to compete at a high level. But you may have to make some tweaks to it. But we would recommend, sign up for the Rescue 10X, get the basics of it. And then again, you can tweak it for whatever athletic needs you might have. Amy, there's a question about which Facebook group they join.
The Rescue 10X Facebook group. So we have actually 3 Facebook groups at Engine 2 Plant Strong. We have the 7-Day Rescue Group, the Plant Strong Community, and the Rescue 10X. And so the Rescue 10X information on how to join that will be inside your coursework. You will also get that link in an email if you can't do a search and find the Facebook group yourself. We do double check the name that you use to join the Facebook group with our course list. So if you are Andrea Smith in real life and you have a Facebook name that is Andrea Marie because you don't use your last name on Facebook, we need to know what your real name is or we're not going to let you into the group because this is a paid group. It's only focused for people who have invested in the course who really want to spend the time and do so privately with the rest of the registered attendees. So make sure that we know if you have a different Facebook name, please send us an email at rescue10x@plantstrong.com to make sure that we give you access to the group.
Yeah, so let me just clarify something for Kathleen in case other people misunderstood what I was saying, and I probably didn't say it very clearly. So the Rescue 10X program starts with a call on Tuesday night. After the call on Tuesday night, you'll know, if you don't already, because you haven't done the 7-day rescue before, you'll know everything that's involved, what foods you should be eating and what foods you should stop eating. And that's why I say you'll actually start eating this way for the Rescue 10X program starting Wednesday morning, because by that time you'll have all the information, okay? So it's all the same program, it's the Rescue 10X, but you'll start eating this way starting Wednesday morning after the first call.
Somebody is asking about what does the shoe mean on the Rescue 10X coursework page, and I don't know what you're talking about. And I've looked at the Rescue 10X course page and I don't see any shoes. If you're talking about the hexagons that have little images in them, the little icons, those are just icons that we created for the Rescue 10X program. Each one of those signifies a different pillar in the 7-day rescue program. If there's a different shoe that you're talking about, I'm really not sure where it is. I've gone back through and I've looked to see. We don't have any shoe that means anything in particular for us. If you're seeing some shoe somewhere, it's just a random photo or random icon somewhere, but nothing in particular.
Yeah. Nancy, as far as, how often we shop and what our food bill's like, again, Amy and her husband, there's 2 people in their household. I'm by myself. If your whole family's eating this way, you're obviously going to have a larger food bill. I shop once a week. It's not a big deal. I buy enough food for the week and I'm good to go. I mean, I don't need to buy canned beans every week or rice every week or anything like that. But obviously the fresh produce I do go in and buy every week. So.
Laura's question. Yes, Laura, I see your question. I thought I had answered it already. You can have fruits or vegetables to snack on our program if you need a snack. If you haven't followed our program before, you will find the fiber fills you up really quickly. And so most of us just have 3 meals a day. Working the weird shifts that you do with nursing or any things like that, we have a lot of nurses that work like 16-hour shifts and have a hard time having mealtime and carry something in their pocket. It's fine to snack on fruits or vegetables if you need to get to your next meal, absolutely. What we just want to stress to you, though, is that we don't snack on anything else. We don't snack on dried fruit. We don't snack on crackers. We don't snack on anything other than fruits and vegetables. And ideally, it would be great if you could just do 3 meals a day. But if you can't, there are some people who do 4 smaller meals, who have a snack in between because maybe they have a bigger gap between their lunch and their dinner because they have to take their kid to practice or something like that. So there's obviously going to be times when you're going to want to have a snack handy, and that's absolutely fine.
Right. So just to reiterate, the live coaches calls are on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're usually about an hour. We try to be respectful of your time. We know everyone's leading busy lives, so we try to keep it to an hour. We might go a few minutes over. But so it's once a week, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And as we said before, they are recorded. And we do talk about exercise, Deborah. That is one of the 7 pillars. So we definitely talk about exercise, and we do spend some time. We have a person come in, Kristen, who helps us talk about the exercise and stretching portion of the program. So.
We have a question about, Eric had said that you tried to sign up during plant stock but couldn't, and need help with signing up. I sent you an email with the link on how to sign up along with the code that you need to sign up. You're just going to follow you're going to go to go.plantstrong.com. You're going to click on the Rescue 10X Autumn program. When you get to the cart, there's actually a little spot that says, do you have a promo code or do you have a coupon code? And you click that, and then you're going to add Farm75, and it's all capital letters. It is case sensitive, no spaces, Farm75. Then you're going to click the redeem button. It'll change the price from $247 to $172. You're going to click the checkout button, and you're going to fill in your information and check out.
Yeah. Let's see. Nancy wants to know, if we join and attend 1 or 2 weeks and it's just not what we're looking for, is there a prorated refund? No, it's even better, Nancy. If you cancel within 14 days of the start of the program, which is this Tuesday, you get a full refund. We want this program to work for you. We know this program works if you work it. And, we know that you can get the positive results that you're trying to get, whether it's losing weight, getting off your medications. We know you can do it, right? We just keep you moving forward each and every week. And we're there to support you, and the whole group is. But maybe it's not the right time for you. Maybe it's more than what you thought. Whatever the case is, if you cancel within the first 2 weeks, you get a full refund back. So we want you to be happy. We want you to enjoy what you're doing. Anita's here. Hi, Anita. How are you? Let's see.
How many people are on those calls, and are there small groups? When we have a call, like right now, there's 65 participants on this call. 231 people signed up for this. So even if we have a group of 300 people signing up for the Rescue 10X, we never have 300 people on the call. Many people are not available on Tuesday nights and will watch the video whenever they have an opportunity to do so. We've never had, not once, and the entire time we run the Rescue 10X, have we had every student present on a call. Not one time. It's anywhere between 50% and 75% capacity usually. And then as we go, people tend to filter out. There are people that this program just isn't for, or there are people who just don't make the time, or there are people who only watch the video recorded. So it's never going to be a ginormous group, except for maybe the first call people have a tendency to tune in for. But after that, once people understand that they can watch the recording later, they don't have to tune in live, everything that they need is in the coursework and in the Facebook group, we often see that there's not as many people on the calls, and calls go just like this. And so when we're doing one of these calls, if there were 500 people in the room or there's 85 people in the room, you're still getting us doing just this, just like this.
No. Let's see. Did anybody else have problems signing in other than Eric? If you did, go to go.plantstrong.com and just make sure. A lot of people get confused. When you go there, make sure you're clicking on the Autumn Rescue 10X. That's the one. A lot of people look at the one box that says sold out or closed. That's not the one you're trying to sign up for. So go to the Autumn Rescue 10X. That's the correct one.
The reason why the summer edition is there and shows that it's sold out, it's there so that way people who are still finishing up their coursework in the summer edition can log in there and see their coursework. So the autumn session is the only one that's available, and that's the one that you're going to want to click on. There's a question, are there individual coaching sessions as well? We do not do individual coaching sessions, but you will find there isn't a situation that hasn't been dealt with in the Facebook group. I can't think of anything. I've been doing this for 8 years. So anything that anyone has shared in the Facebook group has been tackled by not only the team, but also by the community at large. We don't do anything that is so personal that you can't talk about it on Facebook or in front of the group. We don't do anything behind the scenes in email. Everything we do is group oriented.
Right. Amy, do you want to handle this one? So Kathleen is the 3 Facebook groups. Do you see that question?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
Those are the 3 Facebook groups. The only one that pertains to the Rescue 10X is the Rescue 10X.
Right.
The 2 free groups that are also private that you can join, that you don't have to be part of Rescue 10X for, is the Engine 2 7-Day Rescue group, which is specifically follows the 7-Day Rescue Plan. So if you aren't following the 7-Day Rescue Plan yet, but you're just on a plant-based diet, you might want to check out the Plant Strong community. The Plant Strong community is for people who have already met their health goals. So if you, for 4 years, worked on lowering your cholesterol, lowering your A1C, getting your blood pressure in check, if you've got children, if you are pregnant, nursing, any of those things, if you're an endurance athlete, those are the kinds of people you'll find in the Plant Strong community. The 7-Day Rescue Challenge group follows specifically the 7-Day Rescue. People who are definitely working on their cholesterol, their blood pressure, their A1C, type 2 diabetes, working on getting their weight down. All of those things are handled in the 7-Day Rescue group. Like I said, there's 36,000 members in there to help you follow that plan specifically. And you can follow any of those groups in addition to the 10X, or if you decide the 10X isn't for you, jump in there and see what's going on. There's always something interesting going on in our Facebook groups.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're coming up on the hour time limit. Again, we want to be respectful of your time. T. Cano asked a question about should they do the 7-Day Rescue Challenge first or do the 10X, and says they're really nervous. Listen, here's what I would say to that, and it's totally understandable, right? This is a big change for people, especially if you've been eating the standard American diet your whole life. I am 50 some years old, almost, no, I'm 55 years old, and I made a change late in life. I made a change because I had a heart scare. My family has a strong history on my father's side of heart disease. I got really scared really fast when I had that heart scare, and it made me look and research, and I found Rip's book and I found Dr. Esselstyn's book, and I've never looked back. I was scared as hell when I made the change, but the scariness of heart disease and what my father and his father had gone through was enough to make me realize I didn't want to go down that path. And so your fear is normal. Your fear of any change like this is normal. So what we do in the Rescue 10X is we help you fight through those fears, because all your brain is telling you, your brain is a thought machine. And what your brain is telling you is, we're okay. Just stay where you are. Change is difficult. Change is hard. Change is scary. Don't do this. Don't listen to your brain. Treat it like a backseat driver, right? Ignore it. You can make this change. Anybody on this call, anybody this weekend that joined us for Plant Stock can make this change. This program helps you make the change, and it helps you make that change permanent. That's what this program is all about. So we hope you can join us. And the last thing, so Amy, did you want to say anything to that?
No, I think that was perfect.
Okay.
I think that was perfect. It can be scary. Look, anytime you're starting something new, it can be scary. Absolutely. But look, if you've ever been to a salad bar, you can do this. If you've ever been to a Subway subs place and built a sub, told the lady behind the counter what you wanted, you can do this. If you've ever been to Old Country Buffet, or you've been to a Chipotle and you had to decide whether you wanted the rice, what kind of beans you wanted, what do you want in your burrito, you can do this. The food itself is the easy part, hands down. And we're going to make it super delicious for you and give you all the tips and ideas that you need to make it super flavorful. This is the part that is the challenge. And that's the part that the Rescue 10X tackles. And what we've discovered over the years with 7-Day Rescue, with Engine 2, is that We can give you a food list all day long, but that doesn't mean you're going to stick to the plan. A food list isn't a lifestyle. A food list is just a food list. Making the habits that you need to put them into play so that way you can live your best life is where the success happens. It's digging deep and making sure that you have the tools and the foundations that you need to help support you in your trouble spots, because all of our trouble spots are a little different. The Rescue 10X tools gives you the things that you need to support you in your lifestyle, the way that you live, living the plant strong tenets. And so I'm really excited that you're here. I'm really excited that you're taking the time away from everything else going on in the world in your life to join us tonight. But I'm especially excited to tell you about these tools because they've really made all the difference in my life, in John's life, and so many people that you're going to meet in the Rescue 10X who have done extraordinary things since they joined us in this program. Anita knows she's here because she's been part of it. Our Rescue 10X group is bar none, and I think that you're really going to enjoy being part of it. And if it isn't the right time for you, check out the 7-day rescue group, get some of the benefits from there, give this a shot and see how you do. Because maybe you're just gonna get on that plan and you're gonna be just great and soar through. Send us an email and let us know how you're doing. We'd love to hear it.
You know, and I will tell you this, we had a call Tuesday night with the GPS, the people that are paying the monthly subscription rate and are still in the program and still doing it, and they'll all be with you guys in this 10X program. The two of us, Amy and myself, and all of the group are so excited to invite all of you into this Rescue 10X program, learn from you, support you, and care for you, that we are going to have a great time this fall. This is a great time to do it as we get towards the holidays. We'll get you prepared for all that. And I'll leave you with this one last thought. Look at it this way. This is a great, I think this is a great analogy. If you want to learn how to play the piano, you can read book after book after book. You can watch video after video after video about how to play the piano. But until you start playing the piano, until you start practicing playing the piano, it's not going to stick. You're not going to learn. You're not going to play the piano. So I just want you guys to know that the Rescue 10X program is going to take it to the next level for you. It's going to get you out there. It's going to get you playing that piano. And before the end of the 10 weeks, we'll have you well on your way to Carnegie Hall. That's our promise to you.
Before we log off, I solved the mystery. I finally figured out what you mean by the shoe print.
Shoe.
Those are steps. How many steps are there in each week of the curriculum? So if you click on the numbers, right? If you click on the shoe print, if you click, so for example, on the curriculum, there's 0, 1, 0, 2, ready, set, go. If you click on 0, 2, click on ready, set, go, you'll see the 3 items that are in that week. The number 3 and the footprints are the steps in that program. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what you were talking about. I figured it out. I'm sorry for the confusion. It doesn't mean anything other than that's how many things are in each lesson. So if you click on welcome, ready, set, go, why we love plants, why we love whole plants on the coursework page, you will see all of the different lessons that are underneath there, and you'll see whether it's a PDF or if it's a video or what else might be in there.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. This is so much fun for Amy and I. We love talking to everybody we can about this program because we really believe that 10X works and we can help you keep moving forward. So definitely give it some thought. You've got some time before Tuesday to sign up. The sooner the better, obviously, so you can get in there, get the materials, get going in the Facebook group, get in there, introduce yourself. Amy just posted our email address. If you've got any questions that didn't get answered tonight, or if you're mulling it over and something comes up, email us. But most importantly, we hope you join up. We hope you can be there Tuesday night because we'd love to have you part of this group and make this life change right now for you and live your healthiest life moving forward. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we'll see everyone Tuesday night.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.